Hey Bill, congratulations on moving up to 4th overall. Can you touch on the excitement that the organization has to get that draft pick and also some of the talent that you're expecting to be available at 4th overall?
Yeah, I think someone's got needs to put the mute on, but it's to pick at 4. I mean, like we were just a couple seconds ago, we were just like 10 back, so it's like it still hasn't sunk in. But what a great opportunity for us to be able to move up that far in the draft, and now we're right up at the top of the draft, and this is an exciting moment for us. It's a game changer for us. So I can't wait to huddle with the scouts tomorrow and go over it and kind of see. You know, obviously we'd been studying the players that were available to us where we thought they'd fall. Now we're gonna, obviously leap up a little bit, and it's going to be exciting times. But I mean, just great stuff for the franchise. I can't express in words on the excitement of when that happened and the opportunity in front of us.
Go to Belle Fraser at the Salt Lake Tribune.
Hi, Bill. Just
recording in progress.
Sorry, how does your mindset kind of change now that you have this pick, and what was going through your mind when you saw that ball?
Well, it was kind of all over the map because they didn't reveal things. So I thought we had won, but I wasn't quite sure. So when they tuned back in and showed us that we'd won. I mean, that's you just start thinking in a different. It's your mind just totally switches to like who's available that you can get at 4. So it's really exciting times for us. It puts us in a different area of the draft and right up top, and it's going to be a great challenge for us to kind of go back and look at some of the players that are available in that spot and go to work. We've had that ability to pick in the last few years up in that range. So I really do think it's good as a staff when you're always kind of picking in the same range. You get used to what's available and the talent around you. So it's truly exciting, and we're gonna get to work tomorrow and start preparing.
Stephen Wino with the Associated Press.
Bill, you just mentioned sort of this is a game changer for you. Just very big picture, kind of what does this mean in terms of how exciting a summer you guys have ahead of you in terms of this free agency and everything else you guys might be able to do?
Well, I think it is. I mean, you look at the draft and you're like, to get into 4, you have to almost, be. It's a tough year as a franchise to go through that struggle just to be able to get into that range to pick at 4, and we didn't have to do that. We were a pretty good team that chased it down the stretch, playing meaningful games and chasing a playoff spot, and we're getting to that point where we're becoming a really good team that's going to have a chance to get into the playoffs. And so not only knowing that we have that in front of us with a really good team and some really good prospects coming, but the fact that we're picking at 4 again and going into free agency, these are exciting times for Utah.
Brogan Houston with Deseret News.
Bill, congratulations. I'm just wondering how the process goes now, shifting gears from, probably anticipating the 14th overall pick, and now, all of a sudden you have this newfound ability to draft maybe a higher talent kind of thing.
Yeah.
How does that just work, shifting your attention from one to the next?
Well, this is why you pay your amateur staff, right? Because now you're switching spots and you're having to draft higher, and they've been looking, coming down the stretch, they've been kind of seeing where we're going to place and chasing those type of players. Now it's, in motion, we're going to switch and go into a new world of looking at the top end of the draft and seeing what's going to slide our way at 4. The good news for us is that we've done it before. We've picked in that range in the last few years, so that's going to help us prepare for it. And I think the simple fact that our staff's pretty good at always keeping an eye on what's up there and has done some great work during the year, and now we're going to go dissect it and get down to business tomorrow.
Sam Farnsworth, KSL.
Yeah, hey Bill, just to give us an idea, in any given year in the NHL draft, what is the difference between a player in the skill set that's available at number 4 compared to number 10?
10 or 14 where we were. It's it doesn't mean you can't pick somebody at 14 or 10 that's as good as that way you can pick at 4. You can. It depends on the strength of the draft and what's coming to you down the way. But right now, where we're picking at 4, there's some good talent there that's is definitely has shown itself, and we're really excited about getting to work and attacking that and see what might come our way. But there's really good players, obviously from 1 to all the way through. You can find players anywhere, so you just need to have a good a good strategy and a good staff.
Dana Green, ABC.
Congrats on the luck of the draw there. We kind of missed the first part of your comments. Can you just describe the shock that you had to move up 10 spots? That just doesn't happen.
Well, it never does. We sit at these things every year and we're just like, yeah. It's like we were in awe when we were here. We're like, oh my God, like what just happened to us? So it's just an amazing moment. And it really hasn't sunk in, to be honest with you. I think when we get down to doing some work tomorrow and looking at the lists and what we might be able to get, it's going to really get exciting for us. But it normally, you sit in these things and sometimes nobody moves and you go home, unhappy, or you got bumped down a spot and you're going home happy. But we'll never forget this moment. This is truly a great moment in the franchise.
Mike Morial, NHL.com.
Hey Bill, thanks for doing this. Congrats. I know it might be a little early, but how do you and your staff feel about the top end of this draft and maybe the depth that's available?
Yeah, it's a good draft. I think it's, when you're picking up top, you got a chance to get a real game changer, a top two-line guy that can be a difference maker on your team. You still have to pick well. If you go back to the 2012 draft, take a look at the top four that went off the board, and they all never worked out for them in the NHL. So you still got to be a savvy staff that gets down to business and ignores all the critics, all the hype, and who's supposed to go and this and that, and really get down to it. So I think our staff's done an amazing job over the years at just kind of ignoring all the noise and getting down to hockey players. And you probably saw that the year that Cooley was picked. There was a lot of hype about a lot of different players, and we just stuck to our guns, and drafted what we thought was the best player in the draft.
Chase Beardsley, Hockey Writers.
Hey Bill, congrats again on the pick, and hopefully your summer's going well. Originally you were supposed to pick around the 14th range, and around that time, it takes more time usually for players to develop. And now that you're in top four, it might take less time for that player to develop. Question is, does this change the timeline, in your opinion, of the rebuild? Does it advance it forward at all? Do your plans change at all in the future?
It does. It doesn't really change the rebuild. Our goal this year was to have a strong team that had a chance to get into the playoffs and that could compete, and at the same time go back into the draft with all our picks and swing. And so we have that ability to do that, and that was what we set out to do. And one pick's not going to change our franchise. Now there's a lot of higher quality talent that's up top. So we'll get a better look at it. Like I said, we'll have to get down to work and really kind of go through it tomorrow. But right now we'll celebrate a little bit and get down to some work tomorrow.
Jake Hatch, KSL.
Yeah, Bill, philosophically, are you the guy who will go into a draft and look for the best player available regardless of position, or are there certain positions you'll be targeting?
Yeah, we really look at the best player available. We've always done that as a staff. Like I said, we kind of ignore all the hype and the noise around it, and all the bloggers and all the great things that they write about players and don't draft this guy. And our staff's really good about just digging into hockey players. And so that's our big thing. I think we've from the time I've come in, I've tried to hire some of the best scouts in the business and develop a culture. And create an organization that's obsessed with scouting. So this is where this is where they'll make their money on picks like this. And so picking at 4 will give us an opportunity to get a real good player that will have some impact in the coming years into this franchise.
Belle Fraser.
Similar to Jake's question, if there was a position or part of the team that could get some depth from this draft, what are you kind of looking at improving?
Well, we've had a lot of draft picks, Belle. So we've covered a lot of different areas for us. Like I said, it's just really comes down for the best player for us. We always keep track of how many D-men we've drafted every year, and obviously as you get down into the later rounds. But when we're picking up top, we're going to take the best player.
Final 2 questions. Tom Callahan, Locked On Utah.
Thank you, Bill. First, congratulations. And also wanted to ask you, I know you just got the shiny number 4 pick. Is there any consideration to maybe putting that pick in play for maybe some future mobility in the draft, free agency, maybe acquiring a player? And do you expect your phone to be ringing now that you're up at number 4?
I do. I think people will try and get into that pick. They'll try and get, you know, they want to acquire it. They'll look at our team and say, listen, this team's had more picks in the last 4 years than any other NHL team. Can we go in there and give them a good player and for exchange for the pick? So I think that's something that obviously, you know, we'll always talk about. We'll never shut that door. That's always been an avenue for us to get players, and we're at the position right now as a team where we're trying to make that next step. So we'll always look at that. That's part of the process. But you know, the amateur guys will be looking at the guy to pick, and they don't want to hear anything about trades. So that'll be an exciting moment for us. But yes, the phone will be ringing.
Last question, Quentin Carney, Hockey News.
Hey, Bill. Just to kind of change gears, I was wondering, do you think Utah Hockey Club is going to try and make a big event of this for the whole Utah community, considering last year it was such a new team and people are still like getting to know the team?
Yeah, I think so. I think they get more into the draft every year. So I think because we'll be picking, you know, so high that, you know, it'll cause a little bit of excitement in the community and into our fan base. I think they'll be really exciting to, you know, they'll get into it. They just have to remember that it's not like basketball. The guy doesn't play right away. So I think that's the big difference we've tried to explain to people. It's like they go back to junior and sometimes they're 3 and even more years away from playing. So it takes a little bit longer. But I think last year when we drafted, a lot of the people thought, hey, they're coming in right away to play. And I'm like, no, it takes some time. So, but truly an incredible day for us here. And we're going to have the opportunity to pick a real good player high in the draft and take a big swing here. It's going to be exciting.
All right, thank you, Bill. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you.